What wild animal is commonly thought to not be dangerous, but you need to stay the hell away from because they are dangerous? Caterpillars. I'm from Scotland, where pretty much nothing in nature can kill you. Visited New Orleans. A buckmouth caterpillar fell out of an oak tree and landed on my arm. Holy crap, I felt like my arm was literally on fire. It swelled up, went really hard to the touch, and was burning. My friend's mom had to use tape to get all the barbs out of my skin. Ever since then, my skin has been horrendously sensitive. I now have medication for rosacea, because my stupid immune system is terrified of flipping caterpillars and will freak out at almost anything. Boars, they can run faster than dogs, can do much more damage, and their response to a fatal injury isn't "oh crap, I got to run away," it's more like "I'll drag you to hell with me, bitch." Australian here, kangaroos. Never approach a kangaroo on land. They will beat the crap out of you. Also, never approach a kangaroo in water. They will effing drown you, and they are very effing good at it too. Also, be careful not to hit a kangaroo with your car. They always have the last laugh when it comes to fighting 2-ton machines. Seals. Cute, cuddly, and slow on land, but they have mouths full of bacteria that will give you a nasty infection if their teeth scratch you. Stay away from seals. Loose seal, loose seal. I got chased by a seal once, was not a good time. I used to live on a small island. In the harbor there is a sandbank that is bare during low tide. We used to swim over and get hammered during the summertime. One day I was swimming over to drop off a crate of beer. As I crest the bank, this mean-looking seal, just as they're staring at me, starts flopping towards me. I panic and jump in the water to swim back. Seal gives chase and, luckily for me, only rammed me a few times. I was sure I was going to die. Needless to say, we stopped getting hammered on the banks after that day. Edit. Many people seem to be concerned about the welfare of the beers. DW, we used a dinghy to retrieve them and they helped to propel the rest of the day. I appreciate all the concern. Edit 2. Thanks for the awards. I got chased by 2 Hawaiian monk seals as a kid while snorkeling underwater, unawares, and only didn't die because a stranger yanked me out of the water. Everyone else had evacuated the water, but I had my head underwater, so I didn't hear everyone screaming. Luckily, this lady spotted my snorkel and grabbed me. As I was being pulled out and yelling "stranger danger," I turn and see 2 big seal mouths open and coming for me. It was wild. Catfish can infect you good if they stab you. Oh. Story time. My dad used to have one of those flat-bottom freshwater fishing boats. Once, he and I went fishing when I was about 10 or so. I caught a catfish. He insisted on handling taking it off the hook. It barbed him and sliced his thumb open bad enough that he needed stitches. So we go back to where we launched the boat. He loads it on the trailer. We start the hour-long drive home. Except he popped a tire on a piece of rebar on the way out, so he parked it to change the tire. Parked the flat tire exactly in a big old fire ant nest. Changed the tire, drive me home, got my mom and went to the ER for stitches, all covered in fire ant bites. Never doubted my dad's toughness again. Mice. Specifically, deer mice. Hantavirus is pretty serious in my state. Edit. About hantavirus, and how it was first discovered, in case anyone was curious. Web link. I always thought they'd just cower if they were cornered, but not so. My mom's cats lured one into the bathtub to torture it, and it eventually got away and hid in the track for the shower door. I went to get it out of there and it started making awful noises and showing its teeth at me. I got it by its tail and had a glove so it couldn't bite me, but it definitely was not happy. Beavers. They will viciously defend their territory and gladly bite a chunk out of ya. Fun fact. Beavers' teeth are orange because they are reinforced with iron. And the blood of their enemies, apparently. Where do you think they get the iron? Mining. Didn't believe this. Googled it. Can confirm. My hamster bit me twice when my fingers smelled a little too much like his yogurt treats, and that hurt like a bitch. I'm not about to F with a giant version of that tiny little rodent. Edit. Oh, thanks for the wholesome award. First award I've ever gotten, and more. TT, thank you. Did no one else say zebras? Zebras have no interest in being domesticated, and will absolutely F you up if they feel like it. They are not like horses. Give them space. A herbivore species that survived for ages between lions and leopards does know some ninja skills. Fun fact, in the 19th century in South Africa, farmers used to put zebras in their herds of horses, as the zebras will attack predators and defend the herd. You can add a llama or alpaca to a herd of sheep and they'll protect them too. It amuses me because alpacas look like a sheep with a long neck, so I look at an alpaca in a herd of sheep like it's the boss level sheep. That is what the sheep think as well. They narrowly like to follow the tallest sheep around, and in that case, that'd be the alpaca. The almighty tallest, laughing out loud. People forget that wild horses are also nasty little female parts. And they usually are little, because larger horse-sized horses are the result of millennia of domestication. Hell, even domestic horses can be buttholes a lot of the time. So many people scared of dogs make fun of me for being afraid of horses. Yes, I'm scared of the giant mass of muscle with human teeth that can kill me in one kick. Better question is, what animal can you with certainty go right up to and just pet? I'm having a harder time thinking of something to not be cautious of. There's a raven that hangs around my place. Once, it was on the roof, so I threw a peanut up there. The raven picked it up, looked around, and put it back down. Ever since, the raven places rocks on my roof. I don't eat rocks. Maybe it's sending a message. I haven't pet the raven. We prefer to social distance. But I think we're buds. Or maybe enemies. I don't know. You're friends. This is common behavior in ravens. They have outstanding memory and never forget a face and rarely a location. It saw the peanut as a gift, and it wanted to bring you something it considers nice. They collect rocks and small metal trinkets like bottle caps. Keep giving it small amounts of food once a week and it'll stick around and might even help you in the future. They're amazing birds. Just don't overfeed it or it will become dependent on you and might not do well on its own. Capybaras. Just learned this today actually, but larger species of otter can kill a full-grown human. Even the smaller ones can mess you up. Keep that in mind if you see any wild otters. Edit. Thanks to user Broadway73 I was able to remember that male otters are some of the most sexually aggressive mammals on Earth. Also something that I learned recently but initially forgot to include. Reddit link. All the mustelids, badgers, otters, wolverines, fishers, weasels, etc. will F up anything that gets in front of them. They shouldn't be underestimated. Wolverines have been documented winning fights with black bears several times their size. The famous honey badger video speaks for itself. If you see a mustelid in the wild and go near it, you're going to have a bad time. Wolverines have been documented winning fights with black bears several times their size. Wolverines are nightmarish hellbeasts of omnidirectional hate. It is actually impossible to overstate how scary they are. Somewhere along their evolutionary pathway, their fight or flight instinct got permanently stuck on fight, and now every single one of them is a Gandhi-level apocalypse engine of the frozen wastes. A zoo once thought they could put a wolverine on exhibit with a polar bear, figuring that the wolverine was tough enough that the polar bear wouldn't bother it. They were right, of course, the polar bear left it alone. But that wasn't enough for this dog-sized packet of aggression. It decided that it shouldn't need to share its enclosure. So it killed the bear. By suffocating it. The wolverine clamped down on its throat and just hung on until it died. These things are the apex predators of the entire planet, and we are lucky they typically confine themselves to the tundra. Edit. It has been pointed out to me that the polar bear story is probably an urban legend, although there do seem to be a few possibly credible accounts of wolverines doing this in the wild. It's also worth pointing out that wolverines generally confine their terrifying aggression to creatures they see as either prey or competitors. They don't bother humans, although I suppose I wouldn't loom possessively over an elk carcass in front of one. Wolverines understand that with great brass balls comes great responsibility. I hope to God they never find out we're responsible for global warming. Coming next summer, extinction event. When Todd, an ordinary, hardworking Wolverine, discovers a terrifying human plot to gentrify the Arctic Circle, he must single-handedly dismantle civilization with nothing but his gigantic teeth and insane berserker rage. In Birmingham Sea Life Center, if an otter escapes, they have to evacuate the building and send in guards wearing chainmail. Edit: I had no idea this one fact would blow up or bring people so much curious joy. I brought my nephew here years ago and remember them telling us how dangerous otters are. No one ever believes me. They have to feed them with special training sticks, so they don't get their fingers savaged clean off their hands. It's how Terry Nutkins lost 2 fingers. Certain species of caterpillars have poisonous hairs. Cone snails are poisonous, too. Cone snails are venomous since they will inject you and you will quite possibly die. Deer and elk. Bucks and bulls and rut are dangerous as they will ram into you with sharp antlers if they see you close to a female. Does and cows can trample humans if you are too close to their babes. They are beautiful animals and there is nothing wrong with observing them. But it's best to do it from afar. Edit: I didn't expect my comment about deer and elk to blow up this much. Thanks Reddit for the stories and awards. Years ago we were at the Grand Canyon during rutting season and were in the car going back to the hotel in Tucson. It was just after dark. Suddenly a car leaving a parking lot ahead of us, they'd be merging onto the road we were on, stopped, so we stopped, concerned. The driver got out and ran right up to the elk that was in that car's headlights and took photos. We were stunned. It was clearly a male elk, and my father said I'm rooting for the elk. Luckily nothing happened, but man, what an idiot. Prairie dogs carry rabies and the plague. They may be cute little things that literally cry on the side of the road when one of their family dies, but I don't need the plague, thanks. Chimpanzees. They're often in movies, wearing clothes, being cute, but the reality is they're incredibly strong and will literally rip a person to shreds. I think that attack by Travis the chimp in New England a while ago shed some light on how powerful and dangerous they can be, but that wasn't an isolated incident. There are plenty of chimp attacks. I think they're quite strategic in their attacks too. Straight to the jugular or the genitals. Or both. Monkeys. They go for the eyes. Yet I see posts on social media with people feeding them and whatnot. Edit: I honestly didn't think this many people felt the same way about monkeys. Seriously, I just remembered that 911 story and read a lot of horror stories about them. I don't trust wild animals in general, but I always see people messing with monkeys. Thanks all for the awards and stories. Be safe. I'm absolutely terrified of monkeys and no one can seem to understand why. They all instead choose to laugh at me because they're so cute. No, they're not. They're unstable, sneaky, bare-assed, crap-throwing goons. I saw a bunch of those effers in Bali. Little effing thieves. I was always getting mugged by monkeys every time I went to the store. The locals in Indonesia are harmless, the local monkeys on the other hand. Evil little effers. Edit: since this comment unexpectedly blew up, I saw there is clearly demand for a subreddit to share crazy monkey stories, so I made r/criminal monkeys. You can go there and post your stories and videos. Reddit link. I went to a monkey temple in Bali and you could buy food for them and feed them by hand. F that, those little monsters were going utterly mental as soon as someone ran out of food. They must be crazy to feed random monkeys like that. People were getting scratched and all sorts. Koalas, they might have 4 brain cells, but those 4 brain cells know how to kill. My rule of thumb: if it's wild, do not engage with it, period. If it's domestic, wait for it to approach you with a relaxed attitude. Most animals are capable of effing you up pretty badly, best not to walk into that kind of scenario and keep your distance. Sometimes people will think that herbivore equals safe to try to pet. Don't approach a moose or a bison, dummy. Yeah, just because it won't eat you doesn't mean it won't F you up. Herbivores are prey to other animals, of course they will put up a sick fight. Herbivore in this case meaning has a wide selection of other reasons to kill you besides food. They can also eat meat if it is easy to reach. I've seen a video of a horse slurping a chick whole. They are just usually not good hunters. Pretty much every cute Australian animal. Kangaroos, cassowary, koala, platypus, Russell crow. All effing dangerous, stay away. Never in my life would I have thought to see the words cute and cassowary in one sentence. Those effers scare the crap out of me. Dinosaurs ain't dead. They just moved to Australia. The platypus, they have a poisonous barb on the back of their foot that will make you want to die. Original poster replies. Giant river otters. Can reach 3.5 feet in length, live in South America, have strong bites, and regularly eats crocodiles and anacondas, pythons on steroids. And they'll just attack you if you get too close. Raccoon. Very cute, but they also are great hosts for rabies. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to be the first to know about Red Rabbit Reader's new videos. If you like our videos, please like them on YouTube and share them with your friends. We welcome your comments below. Press to start another of our videos.